Hi, we're at Winthrop City Park today with Ashley Sherrets again. And Ashley, I understand there's another insect problem coming up.
Yeah, so emerald ash borer was discovered in Buchanan County in Winthrop here. It was a homeowner's backyard that had a positive insect sample that the Iowa Department of Ag identified. So we're here at the park, just kind of want to talk to people about this. Now that we do have a positive sample in Buchanan County, any trees within 15 miles, any ash trees within 15 miles will need to either start thinking about preventative care, even though their tree may not have emerald ash borer, or think about removing those trees because now they are in the threat zone.
Now, as a trained professional, you know more what to look for than the average homeowner. What type of things, how big is this bug? What does it look like?
I actually have some samples here. The insect is actually tiny. The actual adult feeding insect is only the size of Lincoln's head on a penny. So you figure very tiny, but what does the damage is the larval stage, and they basically tunnel under the bark and they cut off the water conducting. So this would be what you would see inside of the bark of a tree that has emerald ash borer infestation. And when they exit as adults. There's always a D-shaped exit hole.
When you flip that to the other side, you can kind of see the
holes.
You can see the light through the holes. Okay. But you don't see that inside until you chop down the tree.
So since the insects are so tiny, things you'll be noticing first would be a thinning of the canopy. You would notice more water sprouts or heavy growth around the center of the tree. You would notice some dead branches, but maybe not a lot at first. But you would start to notice these things. You'd maybe see more woodpeckers or hear more woodpeckers. In the wintertime, there's often, you would see bark on the ground because the woodpeckers attack, trying to get the grubs out, and then you'll see a lot of dead wood pieces on the ground.
Do you have some trees here we can point out?
These probably have emerald ash borer, but they're in a mid stage of, maybe this would be what you would have in your backyard. But basically, here's a green ash tree. You notice that you've got the canopy. There is some dead branches up in the canopy, and also you'll notice in the center of the tree there's like a flush of growth. It looks thicker. The leaves are bigger, and they're actually coming out of the trunk rather than on branches. So that's called water sprouting, and that shows that the tree is stressed. It's trying to create leaves to create energy because part of the top is dying.
But like with the other maple worm we talked about last week, there's nothing at the base to make you think of... Right,
and the adult beetles would be feeding on the leaves at the very top of the tree, so you're not really going to see that. And the feeding on this with the emerald ash borer is under the surface of the bark, so you're not noticing that. You're noticing more the way the tree is reacting.
If someone does see this, what can they do now, this time of year, or the stages of the bug?
Sure.
What can they treat the tree?
There is treatment options for trees 60 inches in circumference and less. The homeowners can apply soil drenches and granulars in the springtime. Now is not the time for that. Now, if you did want to have your trees treated, that would need to be done by a trained professional. They have their own ways of doing that. Some are trunk injections, which those can take place until end of July, early August. But the time frame for this year, the only options left for treatment would be through a trained professional. And we have a ton of resources. There is websites, because this is it's all across the United States. It's coming from the east, moving over. They have it in Canada. Iowa currently has 61 counties with positive emerald ash borer identifications. Also, the state is in a quarantine, so any firewood cannot leave the state. Part of the reason they think it came here was moved in on firewood from another place. So definitely the way we kind of advocate for this is burn it where you bought it. You don't want to transport, even if it's a couple counties over to your campground. If that county does not have emerald ash borer, you could be transporting insects.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, Ashley.
Yep, thank you.